Good morning, students. Today I am going to discuss a new chapter, that chapter 1 from your class 11 biology syllabus. The name of the chapter is The Living World. Today I am going to discuss the session 1 of this chapter. So from this chapter we will get to know a lot of things about our living world. So let's start the today's class. First, actually, you should know what is living. So, before starting the class, actually, I am saying one thing, that biology is the science of life forms and living process. I think all of you know this thing. The term biology means bio means the living organism and logy means the to know. Okay. So biology is the science of life forms and living processes. So the living world, the name of the chapter is the living world. So what is the meaning of it? The living world actually comprises an amazing diversity of living organisms. I think all of you know this thing, that our whole environment is actually a full of a diverse amount of the flora and fauna. So the early man could easily perceive the difference between inanimate matter and the living organisms. Okay, all of you know this thing. Then how actually you will understand, how you will get to know that this is the living thing, this is the non-living things. So a common feature of all such forms of inanimate and animal objects was the sense of fear that they evoked actually. So the description of living organisms, including human beings, began much later in human history. You know this thing. So this society is actually indulged in anthropogenic view of biology would register a limited progress in biological knowledge. So now you should know the first thing, that what is the characteristics of living organisms. Normally, the living organisms has growth, reproduction, response to stimuli or external environment. Okay. Next, so homeostasis, next cellular organization, next metabolism, next interactions with other cells and living organisms, next heredity, next so adaptations, and the last one is the evolve. Now I am coming to describe all those points. So first thing is the growth. So we all need growth and development in our body. Without growth, without development, we cannot survive in our environment. So growth is the main important thing in our life. Growth and development is the main important thing in our life. So what is the basic things of the growth? What is the basic meanings of the growth, or what is the basic things of the growth? That all living organisms actually grow. Okay. So it is what is the definition of the growth? That increase in mass and increase in number of individuals are twin characteristics of growth. So in the increase in the mass and increase in number of individuals is the twin characteristics of growth. So a multicellular organism grows by cell division. A multicellular organism grows by cell division, and through this cell division actually growth occurs. So in plants body, so in our environment there are two living things are present. The first one is the plant, second one is the animal. The first one is the plants and the second one is the animal. So in plants, this growth by cell division occurs continuously throughout their lifespan. In plants body, this growth by cell division occurs continuously throughout their lifespan. And in animals body also, this growth is seen only up to a certain age. So however, the cell division actually occurs in certain tissues to replace the lost cells. So this is actually the growth. Next thing is the reproduction. What is the basic meaning of the reproduction? Reproduction is again the production again production. So this reproduction is one kind of the important biological process through which one new organisms will produce. Reproduction is one of the most important biological process, one of the most important physiological process through which one new organisms will produce from their parents. Okay, so this reproduction is very much needy thing, very much needed, very much useful thing, very much important thing in our life. Why? Because without reproduction, life would be stagnant at a certain point. Without reproduction, life would be stagnant at a certain point. Okay, so this is the self-replicating and self-organization thing. This is self-replicating and self-organization thing. Next thing is the response to stimuli or external environment. Response to stimuli or external environment. For example, phototropism and chemotaxis. So I think all of you know this thing. What is the meaning of phototropism? Photo means the tropism is the movement and photo means the light, sunlight. So this is the movement towards the sunlight. And next thing is the chemotaxis. Chemotaxis is also the movement towards the chemical thing. So this is actually next thing is the homeostasis. So what is the meaning of the word homeostasis? Homeostasis means the equilibrium. The word homeostasis actually depicts the equilibrium. So it regulates. So what is the meaning of the homeostasis? This is the regulation of the internal environment to maintain a constant state. It is the regulation of internal environment to maintain a constant state. Okay. Next thing is the cellular organization. We all know this thing. The cell is the structural and functional unit of life. We all know this thing, that the cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Okay. So all organisms are actually made up of one or more cells, the basic unit of life. Next thing is the metabolism. Sum total of all chemical reactions within a living cell or simply transformation of energy by converting chemicals and energy into cellular components and decomposing organic matter. That's called the catabolism. So I am repeating again, what is the basic meaning of the metabolism? Metabolism means we are getting energy through the metabolism. When we are taking food, okay, so from food we are getting energy, we are getting nutrition, but how is this possible? By the metabolism. So this is the sum total of all chemical reactions within a living cell or simply transformation of energy by converting chemicals and energy into cellular components. So there are two types of the metabolism is there, anabolism and catabolism. Catabolism is the decomposing of organic matter and anabolism is the converting chemicals and energy into cellular components. Next thing is the interactions with other cells and living organisms. Interactions with other cells and living organisms. Okay. Next is the heredity. You have studied this heredity and evolution chapter in your class 10 standard, and I think all of you know this thing, that heredity is the basic fundamental thing in our life. Okay. So next thing, so adaptation. This adaptation and evolve, these two are actually interlinked with each other, because living organisms, this is the main basic characteristics of one living organism. Why? Because without adaptation, without evolution, life would be stagnant at a certain point. Okay, without evolution, without adaptation, life would be stagnant at a certain point. So that's why this evolution and adaptation is very much important thing in our life. Next thing is the characteristics of life. So this is the, according to one definition, that living organisms are open system that maintain the homeostasis and are composed of cells and have a life cycle, undergo metabolism, can grow, adapt to their environment and respond to stimuli, reproduce and evolve. So this is the basic things of the characteristics of life. So according to one definition, I am repeating again, that the living organisms are open systems that maintain homeostasis and are composed of cells, have a life cycle, undergo metabolism, can grow, adapt to their environment and responds to stimuli, reproduce and evolve. So this is one schematic diagram of the characteristics of life. So for being alive, we need to actually have all those characteristics. We will have all those characteristics. We have to maintain all those characteristics for being alive. Okay, so first thing is the growth, second one reproduce, third one heredity, fourth one homeostasis, fifth one metabolism, sixth one cellular, and the last one is the respond. Okay, so now I am going to describe all those things one by one. Okay, so first thing is the growth. So all living organisms has their own specific growth and development. Okay, all living organisms has their own specific growth and development, and in our last slide we have discussed about the growth. So first thing is the increase in mass and or number of individuals of cells. This is the meaning of growth. Growth, what does it mean? What is the meaning of growth? This is the increase in mass and or number of individuals or cells. Next thing is the increase in mass and numbers are twin characteristics in living creatures. Okay, these are the intrinsic property. This is not the extrinsic property. So there are two types of property, that is the intrinsic and so next thing is the growth in unicellular organisms. So it actually is also by the cell division. This is present, this growth in cellular and unicellular organisms is actually also by the cell division. So first thing, the cell division is also a method of reproduction in them. Thus growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive events. What is the meaning of the mutually inclusive event? That it occurs simultaneously in unicellular organisms. It occurs simultaneously in unicellular organisms. So cell division is also a method of reproduction in them. Thus growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive events. It occurs simultaneously in unicellular organisms. On the other hand, in multicellular organisms, growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive events also. In unicellular organism, growth is mutually inclusive events. Okay, but in multicellular organism like human, the growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive event. Next thing, cell division in unicellular organisms can be observed in vitro and also be counted. Okay, so this is the basic things of the growth. Difference of growth in non-living objects and living organisms. So this is actually the discrimination, the growth in non-living objects and the living organisms. The first thing is it's actually both increases in mass. In both increases in mass occurs. Second thing is in non-living objects, increase in size of crystals, snow mountains, deserts, sand dunes, etc. are examples of growth. Next thing, but this results from accumulation of materials on the surface, that it occurs externally. Okay, this is not the intrinsic characteristic. This is actually the extrinsic characters. Next thing, on the other hand, in living organisms, that growth occurs internally as a result of build-up of materials through various metabolic activities. It's not just the accumulation of matter on their bodies. Next thing, growth is irreversible in living organisms. Growth is irreversible in living organism. So thereafter, growth is a characteristics of living organism. We all know this thing. But this cannot be considered a defining properties of living organism. Why this is not considered as defining property of living organism? Because each and every person has their own growth, okay, and some non-living objects also has growth, like the sand dunes, like snow mountains, like crystals, okay, so they have their own growth. So that's why you cannot say that growth is only the specific characteristics of the living organism. So next characteristics is the reproduction. So what is the basic features of the reproduction? What is the basic definition of reproduction? So reproduction is actually a characteristics of a living organism. Okay, so what is the basic meaning of the reproduction? Reproduction is the biological phenomenon where a new organism will produce from their parents. So it's always will be the unidirectional pathway. Some parent, it's always happen in the of replicating or reproducing themselves. So next thing is it occurs either sexually or asexually. So reproduction is two types. Reproduction is two types, sexual and asexual. Reproduction is two types, the sexual reproduction and the asexual reproduction. So what is the meaning of the sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction is the where two parents are required, and not only two parents, the same sex parents, two opposite sex parents are required. It means the male and female both, male and female both. And in the asexual reproduction only one parent is required, either male or female, and you cannot discriminate which one is the male parent and which one is the female parent. Suppose you are taking one arthworm as asexual reproducing organism, so you cannot discriminate this is the baby parent, this is the baby arthworm, this is the male arthworm, this is the father arthworm, this is the mother arthworm. You cannot discriminate this thing. But when you are taking human as a sexual reproduced organism, so that time you will easily get to know that which one is the baby organism, which one is the mother human, which one is the father human. Okay, so this is the basic things of the sexual and asexual reproduction. And always remember, the asexual, actually the organism which is produced by the asexual reproduction, so they are just clone to their parents. They are just clone to their parents. Okay, clone means, what is the meaning of the clone? Clone means the identical to their parents. Clone means the identical to their parents. Okay, so in fungi the millions of asexual spores are produced in order to multiply and spread. In fungi millions of asexual spores are produced in order to multiply and spread. Okay, so this is the spore. So through the spore this one new organism is actually produced. So I think all of you have studied these all those things, this asexual reproduction, these types of asexual reproduction, all those things you have studied. This sexual reproduction actually is commonly observed in higher plants and animals. Okay, it means the flowering plants body. Flowering plants body, because you have already studied the sexual reproduction in flowering plants, already you have studied. So sexual reproduction is commonly observed in higher plants and the animals. So it involves the formation of gametes by two parents of same species, and new individual is developed by fusion of the gametes. The offspring is not a clone of either of the parents. So many organisms however do not reproduce. For example, mules, sterile worker bees, infertile human couples, etc. Okay, so thereafter reproduction is not only the characteristics of living organisms, but this cannot be taken as a defining property of living organism. Why? Because some living organisms also do not have any reproduction capacity, like sterile worker bees. They are living organism. These bees are actually, honeybee is the living organism, but the sterile worker bees do not have any capacity for reproduction. Infertile human couples, okay, they do not have any characteristics of living organism. Mules, okay, this is the hybrid. This is the hybrid. Okay, so they are actually sterile in nature. They do not have any reproduction capacity. So that's why you cannot say that reproduction is the defining characteristics of living organism. Why? Because some living organisms do not have any reproduction capacity. Okay. Last one is the metabolism. So what is the meaning of the metabolism? So this is also the another characteristics of life is metabolism. So all living organisms are actually made up of the chemicals. I think you have heard the term the biomolecules. You have heard the term the biomolecules. Okay. So what is the meaning of the biomolecules? Biomolecules means the biological molecules like the DNA, RNA, protein, and our body is also made up of by this all those things. Our body is also made up of these biomolecules. So all living organisms are made up of the big or small chemicals of various types which exhibit different functions. So they are constantly being synthesized and transformed into other biomolecules through different chemical reactions referred as the metabolic reactions. They are constantly being synthesized and transformed into other biomolecules through different chemical reactions referred as the metabolic reaction. So thousands of metabolic reactions actually occur simultaneously inside all types of living organisms in their cells. Metabolism is defined as the sum total of the all chemical reactions occurring in an organism. So two types of metabolism is there, anabolism, catabolism. Two types of metabolism is there, anabolism and catabolism. Non-living objects never exhibit metabolism, and the metabolic reactions however can be carried out in vitro in cell-free system in a laboratory. So this metabolism is a defining feature of the living organism. So you can say this thing that metabolism has these kinds of metabolism is the defining characteristics of the living organism, because without exception isolated metabolic reactions in vitro are not living things but surely the living reactions. So that's why you can say this thing that the metabolism is the identifying characteristics of the living organism. In our next class we will discuss the cellular organization and the other living characteristics. Okay. So in tomorrow's class we will discuss all those things. So till then, goodbye. Thank you.